For the third time. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany. Every once in a while, I have to do brain cancer research down here, and that's a code word. Primarily because I was backward scanned into a Skull and Bones program 3 years ago after they moved my homing beacon to my mom, which is basically a location marker, and they tricked me into going after I moved across the bridge 2 years ago to get away from that apartment on Cora Street, where I did do needles because I hated having sex. And it let my brain stems go too high, so I didn't know what I was doing. Because my friend did not know how to be anything but somebody who had sex with me. And that's it. And he controlled my life, and so did the law above him. They ruined my apartment. They ruined my BMW X5. I hated my life. And before that, I was common law married to Sal Cortez for 14 good years until my daughter was 7. And then we split up on good terms. We're still really good friends. But I became homeless on the streets of Portland, and so did my mom in Vancouver, because she lived with us too, because our parents sold the house, and he moved in with his current girlfriend, Tony, red hair. And they have a perfect little life there in their perfect little house with their potential mother-in-law quarters that I wish was mine, but it's not, with my daughter, full-time. My son is homeless. He tent hops and couch hops, and I was supposed to get an apartment or something like that, help from the UE 2 years ago, by staying clean and sober, leading by example for whoever is up here in the UE. And I'm not really sure if it was LaShawn or Anthony or Kraus or a different person, because I'm not sure whose bodies they actually put on me when they decided to say fuck it and do porn on the other side virtually and talk shit to me about toxic shock. I've never been in there as a player, because as soon as that happened, I was on a chain. So if you were to pull me up there, like you could pull most people up there, you would pull everybody else in me, and you'd have to erase all the brain stems, and my train would have to be driven by a Gilda, which is a 7 - 1 evil Lucinda. They could be evil heat eye stem codes, or it could just be the people that used to be on my chain. Dewey. Anyway, so I've lived here at my mom's, besides visiting Tanika. Yeah, and AK went to the court, and he did some illegal ass shit trying to get reopen that room or whatever, because I had left my whole apartment behind. All my furniture, all my clothes, everything that was there. It's a lot of stuff. I earned it. I paid for everything in that apartment. Like, I used to have a job. I think the last job I made like $2,500 a month, and that was like 13 years ago. And about 13 years ago, because I became a stay-at-home mom right before my daughter was born, who is now 12. And everything in that apartment was mine. And all the cool shit that I had, like I had all kinds of tools and stuff because I was a Pinterest activist. They stole everything from me and just left my clothes and my furniture. But anyways, I left it all behind with my BMW X5 broken down a little to get off of drugs and get away from Anthony Ciaz and put him in a hurt locker, is what I called it, waiting for him to leave the nest and move to Arizona. Throwing the coins at him, which I should have kept, to replace my car, but I didn't because it wasn't the right thing to do. And he did leave, but he kept coming back to do his community service. And he'd break in the door and whatever, and when he wasn't there, Brood would stay there and random ass people, because it was a flop house. Then when he went to court for Tanika to live there, so he had a place to stay under my name, because I was still on the lease, and the Chinese people had sold it to a new company. And so while they were renovating all these apartments, they were just letting people flop there, or whatever it's called. But they didn't even know anybody lived there because they were super quiet. But the point is that Tanika lived there for a little while, and she cleaned out all the floppy, nasty needle shit or whatever, so it was a legal place for her to stay. There was no drugs, there was no guns, there was no nothing. And she had her kids there off and on, and I visited her there because I love her. She's my sister from another mister. I love how she got out of prison and wanted to make up for lost time with her daughters too, even though she doesn't really know how to be a mom because she was on the streets of Portland too or whatever, but she did well by her daughters and her grandson. She loves her grandson more than life itself. But then some stupid dumb fuck named Scrappy had a gun wrapped up in a blanket, and when she came there with her parole officer to check the apartment, he snuck out to walk his dog and left the gun there, and she got in trouble for it. I called her PO officer, and I was scared to death too, because they told me I left the gun there. So I called to let her know that it was Scrappy Happy that left the fucking gun there, and that he was a douchebag for sneaking out to walk his dog. And that's what Brian told me, the black guy. And Scrappy admitted it too. So I'm pretty sure it's the truth, but who knows, right? Anywho, the house was not a bad house until she got arrested. She left Scrappy Happy in charge of it while she was gone because, well, he was there when she got arrested. I was forced to go to Florida for whatever murder charges they're talking about this time before she got arrested, because I was there visiting and everybody's scaring the shit out of me. So I call AK and I need to leave. I'm scared, you know. And so I missed the first flight because I didn't want to go. And then I made the second flight. Teresa dropped me off at the airport and I went and I ended up talking to a judge on the telephone pole out there. Literally, like, she somehow got a hold of my ISTEM codes and she said, your son's on trial up here. And I don't really remember the conversation. I'm pretty sure I just remember them saying he set my son up. The difference of age between my daughter, who at the very youngest would have been 7, if my son was 17 years old, where he could be punishable by law for molesting somebody, would have been 7, because they're 10 years apart. Meaning, if you were to question Soraya on the ground, she would be able to tell you, yeah, my brother touched me, you know, but it didn't happen because there was a 53-year-old who was also whatever, so blamed for M-wording my daughter and a bunch of other shit. This shit never fucking happened in real life. This was blackmail on somebody else's bullshit because Anthony Ciaz had child abuse cases following him because he was a upper echelon member who was setting people up to get arrested and being watched from the sky how he did it. On the other side, a LaShawn Plumpett had this magic computer system where he would watch bitches through his fucking computer and call them slut bunnies or nose pickers, right? So it was kind of a combination of things. It was an underhanded moment right there. So, hey, Mr. LaShawn, dead in a motorcycle accident. Thanks for accidentally putting me on your chain. Thanks for crying with me, saying, I'm sorry, Tiffany. My sister made me set you up from everything that was floating above our heads back then, and the UE just signing off on it because they didn't want to deal with it. And yeah, LaShawn, after I threw the coins at AK and found out that your dad disowned you and was pissed he had to pay $10,000 to keep you alive or change your identity or whatever, I did become a mama bear and I did fucking stick up for you and I did become your loyalist, which is why I named it Loyalist Royalty, to not like Anthony Ciaz's royal loyalty. So it was a side jab and a stick up for you situation, because that stuff started 2 years ago and it was supposed to be a group. And it was supposed to get me disconnected. And it was supposed to get me my own trust fund. But instead of it being a spoon, it's supposed to be a big dipper with a whole bunch of UE and some fake FBI and some real FBI and some more UE. Ultimate Authority Echelon is supposed to be men up there with good women backing them as a situation where you have somebody to be accountable to, but they're not all up in your business. Big decisions should be funded through the Ultimate Authority Echelon movement above Tiffany Carroll. Not above Kraus, not above them, not above them. When we're with Tiffany, we ping these addresses, we can see all this shit and prove everybody guilty for so many reasons. But a lot of us do not understand why the fuck Tiffany looks like Carol right now watching TV. Because I have a visor on and I am Stella and I am the one that told Tiffany not to smoke outside, because the smoke is coming up into the room or into the UE where the kids were. And I don't remember if those were her kids that came in off pictures or if it was other kids who had been traumatized from whatever was on those rapes and those kills and those other things that were on all these scary people's heads that they dropped on Tiffany's head on the chain thing. So anyway, apparently the people that were doing porn did not really realize that Tiffany got pulled up to the UE. And Tiffany didn't get a visor on, but she was connected to Stella. She did, however, get sidewinders for her player to learn how to use in here to protect these kids and to keep an eye on them on the ground. But what we didn't realize is that once Tiffany saw the stars, the ground started coming up. We also didn't realize that Tiffany's kids all came in here as pictures, and they all came in here through this same route. And it was under Katie. And then somehow, so the Katie thing was more the kids thing, and then the Rebecca thing was more she signed the certificate of compliance for Anton I, the black guy on the ground, to control the money in here so that maybe he could get her disconnected or come pick her up in Washington. But the thing is that they don't let black guys be in here, and it was just a bunch of white guys using his reflection, just like they're using mine right now, to blame him for everything. And they did pull him up here to humiliate him, even though it's not really him, it's someone else in there. But anyways, so with my UE benefits, after I saw the FBI stars, they had to give me a magical power source, which it wasn't really necessarily a power source I could use, but it was in fact something keeping me close to Japan, keeping me alive on the ground. My player, or the person that had my brainstem up here, it eventually burnt out, but it was Sarah name. And they said she was literally at the hospital on life support. And then she was giving us life support with Kangen ion drips once we got anthrax and everything else, keeping Tiffany healthy and happy, connected to the UE. Well, at some point or another, I crisscrossed applesauce my eyes, and there became a huge problem because apparently on this side it was all UE doing beautiful things and never really talked to Tiffany much because they had embarrassed her and they could hear what they were saying. And on this side was all these cases. There was a rape, a murder, an M-word case that was AKs from the beginning that flopped over to Krause, that flopped over a different guy, not Dewey, but somebody else, that flopped over to Jessica, that flopped down to Katrina, that flopped down to Tiffany, but back up to Katrina because we already proved their innocence in the boys situation because that never fucking happened either with his blind son or Krause's son or Tara's 8-year-old at all. It was just a misconception from the UE because I'm listening to what they were saying up here because somebody's looking through somebody else's eyes. And I don't know if it was the FBI or if it was a different person catching on to their husband cheating Krause or whatever it wasn't Amy's baby's dad. So with that being said, Katrina's kids did get taken from her by the dads because of AK. Not that AK had sex with her or flirted with her or had kissed her even, but because it looked like that when they were moving different power sources when they were around each other. Or Katrina might have been her daughter on the ground when they moved power sources. Just like Tanika looked like she was having sex with her 18-year-old girl or her 17-year-old girl or whatever through the UE up here. And it also looked like Tanika was smoking with her daughter meth when that was Trista and Teresa. Because the person you see on the ground is not who you see when you look down here, unless you've been informed that Carol Browning has my homing beacon. And I don't know who I am. They say I'm LaShawn Anthony, who is Krause, basically, or AC or whatever. But his forward brain does not know that I'm on his situation, and he's the one trying to persecute me for not taking the pills. The main reason he wanted me to take the pills was because he had a child abuse case following him around for being a pervert with Tara's daughter and his own son. Tiffany proved to the UE, well, actually, we proved to the UE through Tiffany and her availability to have an idea about what's going on with the FBI pinpointing. She can't see us at all, but she knows about how it goes. So anyways, we were able to signify and dignify that those MOLESTATION cases did not happen in real life. And Krause is basically evil force, Tara's stepdad, kinda, in our mind. Anyway, we were able to prove them innocent and that it was all a misunderstanding and force it through to the judges like instantly so he didn't have to worry about it anymore. So once he did that, his spoonship program did not bend over and say thank you. Instead, it stood up tall and said, I'm going to steal Tiffany's environment. Now we're the Big Dipper up here, and we're going to keep persecuting her down here for still not taking the pills because an accidental death happened. And no, Alex Vallejo did not die because of us. They've been using it as blackmail to go back and forth or whatever. He got in a motorcycle accident. The thing is that there was a little boy of Alex in here, and Elijah and Ruben, and they felt the same problem in the sex department over here in the last 2 years because they were pinging off of Rachel and Tiffany and whoever else had those kids in their OGen. And really, it was probably just whoever Tiffany's players were because all those pictures came in through Tiffany's Good Mom Dream Book that was kept separate from the UE. I mean, from the syndicates. And they did tell Tiffany you cannot be a UE member and a syndicate at the same time. But they were talking to someone in here that they could look at who did not hear them. Tiffany heard them on the ground. And she's like, I'm not going to be a syndicate. They said I can be not naked and what's on a syndicate. But I don't want to be a syndicate. But I think I might own a syndicate. I'm not really sure. So I did walk to Fred Meyer's with a bundle of roses, thinking that the people that I was talking to, one of them might have been able to get to the black guy on the ground named Tuan and have him meet me there so I could ask him to marry me so that AK would stop saying that I was his wife or whatever it was. But he never met me there. Anyway, they might have thought that when I walked up there that I chose to be a syndicate, but I never did. And I was still clean and sober there, and I came back depressed. And so in those notes where it says, Dear Syndicate, this is our love life thus far. The name in that paper never said Anton Mobay at all. It said Anton Ide. I just took it out because of how embarrassing it is to know me in here, because of what they made me look like in here. Anton Ide is a black guy on the ground who has evil force and a bunch of other people paying off his residence also. And he only knows what's going on in here if people let him know. And I'm pretty sure it's only if they're in his body they can subliminally message him to leave on the overheater day or not hug her at Safeway. I don't think he really knows anything about her being called Herpagonosyphilidia at all, like at all. So that's that portion of measurement. So you don't really love Anton, like to marry him on the ground and try being a family with Soraya? No, because he does drugs. I mean, no, he doesn't. He's just a player. Okay, let's check it. The thing is that I can't have anybody that's ever played this game around my son Elijah because they set him up. And my son Elijah needs me way more than I give a fuck about any of those niggas, they said. So this thing here was like a big, like a couple weeks worth of wins. Okay, that I wasn't in here doing it, but they were using my eye stems, my power source, and my lifelines in here. It was my thespian trying to improve somebody's dimension over there. And they did do this. So did the Cheetos like Camille and them with the hand dances and eye rolls and all that. And there is money on here. If you relook at it, it's like 150 million Emerald Green Freedom was mine, but I gave it back or something. Divided by 3, it says, as usual, but Tiffany never gets any of it. We want to tray you. I fuck with nobody. Mr. Luck. I'm pretty sure this is a good one. This is like floating globes or bubbles of some sort. I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe that's a halo. But it's a big one, I think, because I see the bubbles all the time. Jackie Bird says, we own us up here. Dark clouds removed from Whitey. Love Seven's boot. I did not know that the lions roar on purpose was a porn thing. Because when I hear the lions roar, I'm thinking of loyalist royalty up here. The kind you don't talk to out loud, and you do look up, and you do syndicated hand things. And if you're a real syndicate, you can swirl up information that I can't do anymore because my brain stems were split. And I could only do it when I had my number 1 UE member in my body, which I don't know who they are because they're Secret Service, Sevens. They don't have sex when you're not married, let alone out loud. And they are the kind that can log out and go home and have a normal life. But Tiffany can't log out and have a normal life on the ground because she never logged in. But she is on life support, so tough titty, they said. You guys do need to look at the camera more often because so they can see who you are up here and stop being ashamed of what you look like. Because you're a backstabby bitch. My name's Sarah Wellington. My body on the ground has no fucking idea that I'm in here. And now I'm Sarah's sister, fucking pissed. Because I love my sister more than Tiffany. So just so you know, we're moving through different people. Tiffany has spots, so anyway. You want me to read this now? Yeah. So my paperwork says no rat tails. And Cincinnati Circus S Corp. For them was porn and whatever else. Keep your S Corp, Cincinnati Circus, Blues Clues, Breakfast Club. Over there with all the Mikeys on your shit with an Elijah on it for some reason. Anyway. I never tried to steal their fucking S Corporation. They were not the ones with me talking about an S Corporation. That was Big Bear. When I said stocks and bonds, yeah. And he was talking about pornography and the way they submit transmissions all sneakily, right? So I had an idea it might be like that, but I thought it was more about keeping your bodies on and being able to do your alternate community service, not blaming me for everything. And I did go over there and say, just so you know, I'm your king always in the sky. I'm not in here doing porn. Don't look at me like a porn star because I would never agree to do porn. But you do know that you're using my permission slips over there and I'm just going to be quiet about it because they had to pay to keep their bodies on. No, I did not think they were selling porn at all. I think it's a cover-up for what they were doing on the other side. So anyway, so basically it's a lot better to have an alternate reality up here if you're on community service with your own version of your own self, not looking like the person on the ground and your girlfriend if you're going to have sex, right? Instead of pinging off of your bodies on the ground and letting everybody sit with you and know who you are and may or may not talk shit and your period-stained pillowcase was Soraya and Tiffany with an Anton personality and a LaShawn and a number 2. And they all did feel bonded to your daughter because of that. Knowing that she needed to be in their life. What we meant to say was knowing that Tiffany needed to be in Soraya's life. So you already knew back then that there's people in your head? Yeah, man. They talk to me all the time. It's a lot different than sitting on my bed doing drugs or drinking a half a fifth every day, which, by the way, I got off drugs and drinking alcohol a half a fifth every day, like every day. And I quit smoking for my UEC through people, because when you smoke a cigarette, they die. A big body with no bottom half. Whatever. Starship. Do you know what the Starship was? No, I thought the Starship was literally, catching all the stars damage that it was doing to us and putting it in a Jack in the Box, and then the London power that was bouncing around, putting it in a Jack in the Box, and it creating light or power or whatever that I could put in a glass jar and float it in my mind above Japan that pings off of the cell towers or whatever. Something different. This is how my mind worked, and they make me feel like it worked back then. So you didn't know what the light scribe was, right? Mm-mm. Did you think it was espionage stuff? Maybe. Stealing your personality? Mm-mm. Permission slips? Yes. Okay. So, started from the bottom, now we're here, up here. But not me. I'm still down here with nothing. This is the 5 things I brought to the table for them to bring to the table for me. So there's probably about 5 people, and each one of them can take one of these up there. See-through pyramid. 1. Dream books, laundry, espionage turned into Gamma Eyes and Starship Light Scribe. So the Light Scribe turned into the Star Scribe, and that's where we can charge it off to the stars. But back then it was Starship Light Ship, and that was back then. Light Scribe, which is something about entering charges in here and keeping them in a book, but not forcing them through to the judges because they're not real. It's basically people that are on parole in the alternate universe for rich people, them doing their own parole or whatever, and all the times they fuck up. So if you fuck up and don't get your parole removed or revoked or whatever, then you're dead in the water with these charges hidden in these scrolls. But if you do a good job and you only have a few, then you might get another year if you didn't do good enough the first year to stay alive in here. Cairo, Syria, water to hydrate and cool from stars, and London Power Lab in IV drips, and my bong through the alternate dimension had proof of both. So this was IV drips, Kangen ion drips is the second thing I brought to the table, because it does make money and it does clear registries. And yeah, there is a silent side fuck you, London, for picking Tiffany Welter and baby girl over there. What, I'm supposed to be the one that you love down here on the ground? I mean, I get that you love an actual player in here, but can you please remember where we started from? You're the one that told me get rid of the evil and we'll be fine. Don't ever side with evil. So I didn't, because evil was over here above me, not even above them. And I got scolded twice for it, and then cut on the neck and a bunch of other torture chambers for 2 weeks. Well, they were nowhere to be found. So I'm sitting down here praying and working simultaneously with a bunch of people. And it was to start it off with one trickaroo of somebody saying they were London Fog, and then turn London, and then whoever it was tricking me into doing arm dances. And so I'm sitting here excited to light up blue, because I do light up and stuff, but I didn't know it was stealing my life force. So anyways, I did end up lighting up, and I did turn blue, and they did get a lot of points for it, but I did feel it commandeering down into a bunch of evil people doing it for some reason. Just like when we're fixing the wounds on this side with the Yui doing it through my eyes, which was R words for me crisscrossing applesaucing, then it got selfish. Rather they were moving charges or getting paid for whatever they did, they had me look up and say my name, and then look in the mirror and say embezzlement specialist. But what they keep forgetting, don't look at it, but what they keep forgetting is that I had 4 stacked God's helmets on, labeling 4 people up there. And those were the same 4 people that were sitting on my daughter's head when somebody was looking at me perverted, and she said, go over there. They might not be the same people, but it's the same helmets. And they are too, the embezzlement specialist, the same one that say, look at the stars, Tiffany Brooks Browning, and then don't claim her at all. So we have Light Scribe, which is now Star Scribe, by the way. I mean, maybe there's still a Light Scribe for somebody, but my shit was Star Scribes because I can chart it to the stars or whatever. Charge information, yeah, like these. And a lot of other hidden information by Blind Guy and Braille guy, yeah. Like how to heal cancer and HIV. Mm-hmm. Homing beacon Anthony, Tiffany, Satan, Hello, Halo, Wristlet, Crown, or Power Source with a sideways figure ace on it, meaning it's an infinity statement, and none of them had one before at all, because this literally came from London. I mean, literally came from Sweden. I mean, literally came from Japan, up there in the Chirosyria department, when his dad was the power plant owner, before the president became who he was over there. And they did too speak a different fucking language, and they did too have to translate things from blah 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 and go through China because they hate America. But it was to their stuff that was getting me killed, and I don't know what that is, but that was when Satan was chasing us for the Star Scribe. Yeah, well, I don't know what that is. Anyway, the magic power source came from me being a UE member with Celeste, Rebecca, Cheryl, Katie, and one of them was in love with Chirosyria, whoever he was. And he was the son of the power plant owner that had a voice like China. And he is the one that built all those Robotrons on the hospital wall where I was at when I saw the stars from them submitting transmissions and separating my mom dream book and burning my body. Because I don't know if it was the drone in me or what. Maybe it's a backward scan in thing, or maybe it's the ability to scan in a picture as a body or a person. But I hadn't watched TV in a long time, and I was watching TV, staring at it, concentrating while they were concentrating, and the power pulled the gamma in here. And then I went outside, and they instantly had me to look up at a star on accident, and I wasn't charging it off to the stars then by looking at it, I don't think. But anyways, whatever happened is it came downward periscope into my body. And I saw the star come into my body, and I instantly started dehydrating instantly and burning in my body like 17 degree electrical heat that you can't prove at the doctor's office. Not the business code. Line 14 has a power source that has it in there permanently. So you can feel what it feels like. And it has been turned down a bit, and it does kill people sometimes if they have too much of a measurement, because it makes it intensify. So basically, yeah, I had a power source connected to my brainstem that was keeping me alive. And the UE. They didn't give two shits or a fuck about these pieces of shit over here doing porn. Just their person, whoever they were in charge of. So whoever Celeste was in charge of, whoever Rebecca was in charge of, whoever Cheryl was in charge of, whether they were CPS, parole officers or regular parole officers or DEA judges like in the Amy Young baby dad guy. Because they were a part of this too. Or else Tiffany wouldn't have been able to see them there. Either way, Tiffany was keeping them alive. Okay? Because if she would have died, we would have died. Because all of this stuff was pinging off of Tiffany. And her brainstems being backwards scanned in for these people to do what they were doing. See through 7? Got optical illusion dream books backwards because I came from the future. And this is me turning something horrible into something good. I got optical illusion dream books backwards as sparkly. They look like a backwards pixelated dream books being deleted. They're silver and black squares that spin into my eyes the same way they sent me bodies. Got optical illusion dream books backwards because I came from the future, making the first ever civilian level iSTEM codes, move apartments and swing bedrooms and bounce checks and resituate extraterrestrial spaceship. Advertising. Priceless video. No, the video is not for that. Priceless. So my iSTEM codes are priceless in here. And yes, everybody loves to use them. That I cannot use, especially being able to sit in Tiffany and see certain things if we can remember without them knowing. And that was I'm smoking over there. So you're not the one who resituated the ET spaceship, right? Somebody else did. Well, they're getting ready to do it again, and you have to be clean and sober to help them, right? But I don't want to help them. I want the FBI to take charge. I mean, the UE to take charge. Because it's been a little over 2 years now. Remember I asked them to come back in 2 years? Mm-hmm. So they could do their community service because I had 2 people that were in trouble apparently. Mm-hmm. Green sweatshirt day on my bed. Cry equal. No. Hold on. You guys do not understand. This mom cannot see us. This is Tiffany Browning on the ground. Her daughter was never hurt in real life. Neither was her son. They have been using this woman's brainstems up here to rape her, molest her, and blackmail her. And there are people attached to it, but they're backwards scan, and they can't get to the same people to tell them that Tiffany already knows their plot. That's why the UE told them what was going on. Her kids have never been hurt in her forward brains, and she's not saying for the UE, the women with the kids, to be deleted at all. All she's saying is don't have my kids in here. Don't have Soraya in here at all these ages. Don't have Elijah in here at all these ages. And don't have me in here at all these ages. Unless you're going to be an agent or whatever that can't be train driven and in the sky. Yeah, because these people have all been inhabited by what happened yesterday. And they think that Tiffany was wrong about what she said about her son. No, they're all taking these kids away from these dudes, I think, right? No, they have a Sarah Tiffany over there with the purple face, not even caring because she didn't want to care for the kid anyway, with him driving her train. The UE that walks down there, we're not on their level. I can't go down there, so will you please go down there and find out what's going on? Because I just heard them go through me and go, okay, like they're taking kids somewhere different, and I don't know if they know what happened yesterday. That is that they can't be seen with people who do prank. Okay, well there goes the UE then. Because everybody on the ground that does crank are the only people that can stick up for Tiffany getting safely disconnected. And you're going to keep letting the rapists and the molesters and the murderers stay connected to Tiffany and killing you and ruining you. Either that or I'm going to have to take the pills and you're all going to be dead anyway. All you have, if you got it in your system, just clear your registry really quick. All I did was brain cancer research on the ground and I can't see you. Well, maybe you guys should go up there to the God's table and tell them that I need a pinger in my brainstem so that when I need privacy, like to take a shower and get 850 people wet with no money, or like take a shit. Yeah, well, you guys that love me are supposed to be reading these with me and each taking one of these things to the table up there and not being afraid of whatever's happening. There's a bunch of needles going somewhere. They did turn against me for that. Hey, Callie and Horn Sky. Hey, Callahan, why don't you take Star Scribe and remember that Tiffany knows London and gave London my 9 shares out of 21 for protection and to never be insulted by you ever again, asshole. London up here, the new London fog. I gave my 9 shares that you guys gave me for stealing my life force and making it look like I was to blame for whatever the M-word shit was back then. Because they felt bad for me. Those 9 shares should have came down in March for me to get a car, but they didn't. So anyways, please take this Light Scribe gift, Callahan, up there and remember that. What is it I'm supposed to do? It's a Light Scribe gift. It's where you can Star Scribe gift, where you can charge it off to the stars or whatever. And it includes my 9 shares out of 21 that I gave to London for protection and never have to worry about getting charges pinned on me and always be stuck up for, and that I'm not into doing porn, and that I was supposed to get money last March for that so I could get a car and not be sitting here making you guys pin against each other like this. Horns dude. Where's he at? Horns dude. You can take number 3. Horns dude. Mr. Horns dude, man. Hopefully you know Rebecca or Cheryl, one of my UE members. I'm Kelly. I'd rather have number 3. Okay, Kelly, take number 3. Horns dude, take number 2. And last but not least, green sweatshirt day on my bed video, if you can find it. It's a special kind of motherly love that's not that. There is no M words by mothers. There is men virtual reality driving trains and make moms look bad so that they can get this CPS helmet disconnected from you guys instead of just killing their fucking player and pulling them back up from before they got involved in the CPS thing. Yeah, well, I have Sidewinders that I can't use because I'm not a player. They didn't mean to give me Sidewinders, but they had to give them through Tiffany to put them on this person who was keeping my kids safe from the child molesters and rapists and murderers on the ground because they thought I was friends with them. Here's the video for the green sweatshirt with a wing. We're all irritated all of a sudden. Green sweatshirt day on my bed equals cry me going with Cindy, Sarah, Rebecca, Katie to the UE to get permission from Germany to further develop and reinvent, with the help of Einsteins from Arizona and the thespians over here, to be A+ and keep our bodies on without using a mouse. Charge a fee. Non-compete. I did it first. Plus or minus. I did it first. No prison. Find Dear Syndicate in the notepad for beginning lifeline regarding my secret, regarding my imaginary friend. So that's 5 things I brought to the table. What? Just ignore that we look naked. I'm pretty, so it's fine. But Tiffany looks like her spots are out naked up there because we see her whole body standing there naked when she's not even here. It's literally a picture of her naked to embarrass all of us as we come down here. But when I come down here, it's not even Tiffany standing there. It's a reflection of her face. But I just assume that her whole body is naked because when we get down here, we see that she has her sweater on. And why did they leave her down here naked? So that the judges and the cops and whoever else that are trying to investigate something won't come past this point to prove them guilty. Or let Tiffany show them the truth and prove her innocence. Because the whole Empress division kept moving around, like from the CIA back to the porn people. I get it. It should have never been Empress. We should have had our own shit that we were protecting over here, like keeping Mom's Dream Book aside from your syndicate shit over there. It should be a separate situation, and they can have their own thing and us ignore it if they will stop persecuting Tiffany for not taking the fucking pills when you guys put the bodies on her and promised you would help her in real life get a car and get safely disconnected and not have to take the pills and die or potentially kill somebody else or potentially still just lose the voices and not this part. By the way, yesterday the FBI came down and told me that they were going to prove to me on either my green dot card or my email that they were helping me. But I think they were blackmailed up here into doing something different because they didn't email me or green dot me. My boss that I can't see says that's not the case. It was what you just thought of. So we're still sticking up for her. We're just getting confused on who we're sticking up for. Anyway, so that's why I went ahead and did cancer research today because I was going to not do it so that in 2 days I could be an agent, but I guess it's not time yet because they're still killing people in here with no needle cap on it. But all it takes is some proof that you guys are helping me on the ground, like an email or even money on my green dot card, for me to believe that you're working for me and that I'm not going to get my rights revoked as a mom. And I won't do it anymore. And I will feel better and not be bleeding out of my pee hole with 20 million people working both sides of that evil fence. And that hat thing is what they put on Tiffany when we told her, when we're two-faced over here, to go ahead and do it early before noon so that you can start clearing out your system. But then we told her today, because they didn't prove it to her yesterday and whatever else, to go ahead and do whatever until they prove it to you. Because they're not just going to keep pressing charges and lifting the pyramid up somewhere different without us helping this mom on the ground, who is Saraya's real mom, who does not have custody of her and has never had custody of her. And these people should never have said that this was Soraya in real life. I don't know if they really thought that her forward brains thought that or not. Probably not. They were probably just that. All right, so just so you know, we're probably convinced that she really was that in real life because people like this have this little girl pinging off her actual residence, writing letters on some tablet like, I don't want to be around my mom because she was friends with that black guy that got her CPS case attachments that didn't belong to me, and they may or may not have told her that I was M-worded in real life when I wasn't, which is not what they were writing at all, something different. So they might be listening to those thoughts, trained over by this dude, which is the same dude that wants Tiffany to get disconnected and hates her ever sleeping with AK, but never told her why, other than making fun of STDs or whatever. Don't be moving shit. Bro, if you got weed in your system, just clear your registry. You guys should not be getting in trouble for nothing. These guys were not smoking weed. It came up on a timeline. Every single timeline that you're seeing that was affected by me doing my brain cancer research in the privacy of my own home should not have been affected if you guys would listen to me and give me my STS helmet when I do it. It keeps it down on the ground and makes it so that none of you get it in your system and nobody sees me either. But instead you want me to be the piece of shit mom who chose drugs over my kids, which that wasn't me. That was Amy Young and that was fucking Mary. The only thing stopping me from being a mom to my son is that I don't have an apartment yet because I can't work. I can't work because I have schizophrenia, meaning you guys are all in my face, one after the other, talking out loud, making me scared that I'm going to go to prison for everything you guys did in here or in real life. And I can't see you, so that's why I'm adjudicated and everything else from everything in here in Oregon, Washington, California, and London. Because Sarah's the one who got arrested over there with my identity code thinking she could get bailed out. Whether she had my purple face on or not, is not the point. She could have got away with her Wellington, bobby hair, over there, arrested, and used my ID because we look similar sometimes. I know. Nothing. She's got a pot of stuff. It was Sarah's. And she didn't have a picture of her, but she did at the same time. And Sarah's daughter's like that. And Freedom's daughter is 13. Mary's daughter is 12. Same age as Soraya. She's the one that reads. And she may or may not have piano recitals. And then here comes the fucked up part. So these people want Tiffany to get disconnected with the blues pills, right? But 80% of the people that are up there would have been disconnected if she would have taken the blue pills. Because they're connected virtually through her brainstems and her different connections. And most of them do not have UE members attached. A lot of it is law enforcement, which is tight. But why should Tiffany have to take the blue pills when Krause can? So can Rachel. So can Mandy. And she can still be connected to those people, and they could still use the same benefits. And Tiffany doesn't have to smoke crank if she doesn't have to sit here and bleed out of her pee hole and have a life. Because they're all on timers. So take the timers off. Have they all been arrested recently? No. So why are they on timers? Because they keep getting killed, or because they can't last long enough, or... Basically, London backstabs Tiffany because he thinks that Tiffany wants to do porn when she was never in here doing porn. Now it's Ashley and Joy and Crystal on my power source. But a lot of the reason why they don't want her attached to it is because of the CPS helmet or whatever. There is one ingrained in Tiffany's head that you can hear my thoughts. I can't read your mind, but I do hear you when you subliminally message me. But it has to be directly to me and you have to be close enough. But all your other subliminal messages go to this guy behind me. And I can get some special kinds, but I don't know where they're coming from because I can't see who it is. Because that person wasn't talking about Tiffany at all. She was talking about herself. And she is the one that's betraying the big time. Because she didn't realize Tiffany was on the ground with no one or nothing. There's blue life force on the front of my body. It's for backwards scan bracelet. It is because my back's burning. I just wish my UE could read these letters with me so that we could get credit for whatever Tiffany. Yeah.
Honey, have you seen that?
No.
Because I want to erase it.
Oh, yeah.
Erase it now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Antonio Banderas was my imaginary friend. She had no idea what the game was back then, just that everyone was mad at her for some reason. And I get it now. Because whatever they had to go through in here was probably hell. But the way that they decoded it out sucked. And they were pissed that she crossed the bridge. Because if she would have stayed at her apartment, it would have been way better. And he could have came there and everything. But she couldn't because they never would have left. Oh, yeah, you guys wanted to take credit for something? You want this list? Yeah. Okay, so copy this list. Okay, ship. Well, you're seeing Tiffany do dope right now, right? It looks like Tiffany with the spots. Well, it's not Tiffany because Tiffany's right here on YouTube. We've already been reading scrolls and everything for a long time. Whenever Tiffany needs private time, she's asked you guys 1,000 times for a STS helmet, which is literally a toupee that keeps you grounded where nobody can see you. So it doesn't come up on a timeline and make everybody else's business code look like they're doing it too. They're looking through someone else's eyes or they're hearing somebody talk about it, but you guys won't do it because you leave me here as a setup in progress. I know everything you're doing because I got 15,000 fucking witnesses of how hard you're setting this bitch up. And you're so lucky that we forget who we're sticking up for being Tiffany Brooks Browning on the ground with the spots who can't see us. Because when I move from Tiffany's body, I'm going to end up sticking up for Rachel, whoever this is, going around in an evil circle illegally. Because who else are you sticking up for? Is it ownership or is it privacy policies or is it to get Tiffany disconnected safely so that another Alex doesn't die on accident? Or do you remember that Tiffany's got like 4 fucking God's helmets on as it is on life support and her daughter is too? Soraya, the future empress, partially because they had a grown-up version of her up here getting money and shit illegally. No, man. They knew that the Empress was not supposed to ever be for guys doing porn, but they were using it to cover up something different. They all had magic power sources that Tiffany did not copy to them. They just used it on those timelines. And some of it did have money on it. Back then, which was the beginning of last year. When they said 1 year in February, right. So in February, when everybody got paid and they got to take the rest of the year off, which was August, they all got money either in here or on the ground. But I don't know if they forced it through the judges then, or if they waited till February to force it through the judges or whatever, or if they got paid on the ground or whatever it is or isn't. Because the evil side, right, it's a turn it around and flip it and blah, 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 and change it or whatever, and it doesn't actually go to the ground. But some of it is in the CPS case department because they want to ruin Tiffany's life. But the thing is that you're not allowed to do that for the girl that put you up there. She cannot see us. She has never benefited from nothing. All she has ever done is, yeah, man, there was a sleeping bear pornography guy with her talking about S corporations. But Tiffany's the one who said stocks and bonds, but not for the reasons he is, because he's not connected to the UE. Tiffany is. Okay? Do you know Kraus or Tara in real life? Not good enough to call her on the phone, or Amy. I mean, I met them both once. And you don't know who London, you don't know any of these people? I can't see them. And no, I don't actually know who anyone is. And nobody's ever given me their real name because they are part somebody else wearing somebody else's body. And they usually do stick up for whoever they know in real life that they're friends with, and they stay away from wherever they're at in real life if they've ever been in trouble. Because whenever you stick up for Tiffany, you get in trouble for it. Right. So there's like no benefit hardly at all over here for this level because it's all reflections of different people or whatever. All those thespian people, I don't even know what it was for unless it was just to do that. Yeah. Okay. So whatever. But anyway, but the brainstem thing that we had going on for a while and the synergies testing and all that, like that's Guinness Book of World Records. The synergy testing, yeah. And then the blowing the smoke rings 4 times. And then how long Tiffany has been sitting here with no money and not able to see us and just trusting that the UE is going to fix this is even more Guinness Book of World Records. MIT calling brain surgeon. She's never been in here as a player because she's connected like this. It would never be her in there because she's connected like this. Because she's brainstem burning herself right now because she's connected like this. Right. She's like the richest person in here, and she won't break her word or his balls for nothing. Because you never really know, man. Because different people act different ways for different reasons. And they do have different games and different ways they win and this and that. But it's just, they are not sticking up for Tiffany Browning on the ground at all. They just want to submit transmission, get their fucking piece of the pie, and get it sent to the ground and leave her here with nothing. And start their new revolutionary war all over again with brand new permission slips that don't include the UE. Because the original Big Voices in the Sky and probably even the London Fog guy, they're way back on a way different game. I think they probably got kind of disconnected when I saw the stars or whatever, or maybe when I crossed the bridge, but they might have got kind of reconnected when they went to submit transmission. But that's just my guess. I don't know. Because she doesn't even know what they're submitting transmission on. And a lot of you didn't understand that these were not real charges either. And then a lot of it is punishing these people while they're doing different community service. That's way more scary. Mm-hmm. Never incriminating this one or her power source or her mom. All they have to do is figure out how to get hold of their front brains. Like let the game controller know to email them or text them or whatever. They have to kill their player and pull them back up the right way. We're here. Sample on it. To get Tiffany's and this person's sidewires out of their head and their CPS connection. Because it was never Tiffany that had a CPS case, it was AK. And it is to AK, or Katrina both. It is to AK and Katrina. And Mandy had one too. AK and Katrina, or Mandy, who they put on Tiffany through her eyes, with one other person, and then scan them in, out, in, up here. That they put her on a chain, skull and bones, basically, so people could do their community service from a distance, because Tiffany threw points at AK and he was getting her back for saying go on the pink carpet. She didn't want to have sex on. She knew people were watching her, so recording her writing down. For Soraya in the future, with the baby girl in mind, from white outfit so-so to overalls young lady, 11, 12, 13 years old, not to be grown up, to be a 17 or 18-year-old in there. Katie's daughter, Tiffany's daughter, AK's friend's daughter, Sarah's daughter, Rachel's daughter, Katrina's daughter, somebody's daughter. Some of these kids on the other side of the baby spying out on me, these little girls grown up to be an adult that were born in Tiffany's body or something like that, because they said a Willow, a Sarah, and somebody else. They only told Tiffany 2 were born in her body, so to speak, but there was another one born in her body, kind of, or with hers. In the nursing situation up here in the UE, because they pulled Tiffany up there to fix it, I think. No, because of this. I just want to scream it, man. It's just, this is Tiffany. It's not trick photography. They literally put a lens. Oh, up here, yeah. They literally put a lens and she could feel it. And because it's a photo thing, when she took her picture, you could literally see it on the thing. I've never been in trouble. No. These motherfuckers just use the shit out of me, man. I'm just some stupid dumb bitch that crossed the bridge when somebody told me to go home because I was scared to death. And I didn't ever want to be watched, listened to, recorded, or written down. And I wanted to put AK in the hurt locker, and I wanted to be a better mom, and I wanted to get away from all that over there. So I moved across the bridge to my mom's, and it did not follow me at all, like at all, little. Because I was still talking to the people that were in my head, but way better somehow. Kind of. No, they didn't have names. They just led me to believe there was someone I cared about for a while. And then Sean or whoever it was. It's just annoying because Tiffany had no idea about them wanting to use her body or whatever it wasn't. And maybe it was to diss her because she knew she had something like that, or maybe she saw the picture or whatever, you know? But the point is she's pretty sure they already seen the picture. And they were just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they had one in here of her. She did not know that there was body in here of Tiffany at all. Or that they may or may not do that. If there was, it was being train driven by a guy, most likely, or it was another girl who didn't like how she looked naked either. Was not secure at all. Jessica has a way cuter body, and so does a bunch of other people like Sierra and Ashley. Who all slept with AK. Will you guys please stop letting them look disgusted down here at Tiffany with the spots? She's not ever the one in here walking around naked, whatever they said. Those were men driving the trains, and the kidney cancer thing trying to make her look gross and foul for the game. Because they didn't want them using her for porn, that's why. Because they kept getting killed over here. Because virtual reality pornography in here in an alternate universe is illegal when you're a felon. Then you're doing spoons, alternate community service from a distance, or whatever that is earlier saying. 7 SEVN. You guys stop being snobby about Tiffany being down here, not naked or looking naked or whatever. Backwards camera. Nothing. It's like the UE was supposed to be with me reading the scrolls in a good way, but they, I don't know, man, they got punished because the God's table or whoever it is up here, the main one, federal prison, I guess, doesn't know how to get Tiffany close enough to these people to where she can ask for privacy, like, hey, can I have a STS cap on for like take a shower or take a shit or take a pee? Or, have to do a cancer treatment, and I'm not in here banging myself. I'm not a fucking pervert. All right. That's never me doing it. Yeah. We used to hear them talking about evil Lucinda's walking around naked. Yeah. Those were evil demon trains driving the fucking bitch, whether she looks like me or somebody different, to humiliate her because they all got killed in the game for using her body illegally or whatever it wasn't. Or maybe it was the UE doing it. Pissed that Tiffany's letting them use her body. I don't know. Because they don't understand Tiffany had no idea about porn or whatever they were talking about. Because she was not connected to the guy. I mean, yeah, she's like, I put you up there, but she didn't really understand what it was necessarily at all. She's just like, remember, like they would never say you're the head of the table, except they did. They say you're feeding our table, but not because I was doing pornography. And I'm not really sure why I was feeding their table, just that I was, the one who gave the gay back to the UE, and now they can all do their community service or whatever. I don't know, man. One would hope that it would change from being a satellite. Right, to right. You would hope. Because you can't see on a computer on the ground that I know of into this world, right? I don't think so. Why it's not the same thing? You know why? Because they are not the ones that did it. Somebody did something like beat a pervert like LaShawn, look into AK's eyes or whatever, and got discommunicated from his own spoons division somehow because it was attached to these child abuse cases, and he basically got kicked the fuck out of the team. Sort of. Or he had to fix it somehow. Well, when that happened, it attached a whole bunch of other bad seeds to him, and he didn't know how to fix any of it either. That's why the whole first ball was supposed to stay buried and not unhatched. The tiger is here. So yeah, I get it, man. Whether you actually use Chava's body to redeem Elijah or whatever, either way, you're pinging off the wrong tower. Tiffany's the one that knows the truth. You guys cannot even say it like that and then say with a wink next to it, because Tiffany was not in here as a player. She only put the 2 and 2 together about the Aryan Nation nigger lover guy and potentially being a child attempt on a Willow that was born in a woman's body or whatever you're saying recently in December, when you guys told me you didn't give me my money again because of AK and his CPS case attachment. When he doesn't even live here and he's not my boyfriend and I don't want to have sex with him either. No, man, AK kept saying something like, "You're my wife, I'm gonna marry you," or whatever on the phone this summer, acting like he was saving me or something. I'm like, why? Why would you save me, bro? And then in here, they're like, you might as well just marry Anthony. I'm like, why the fuck would I marry Anthony? I'm not in there as a player. I don't even like him like that. The problem is they don't understand how Tiffany's connected and how she hears things a lot more than just that done yesterday when you did not hear about it. Speaking of different people, obviously. Picking off of the virtual reality thing that they did up here. And I don't know if they used Tiffany's body or tried to make it look like it was Tiffany now, casinos or whatever. What? But whatever they did was illegal. Tiffany's supposed to get virtual reality down here if the FBI wants her to. So that they can be in here on good terms. There were brainstorms thinking might be able to log into an FBI virtual reality tour on the ground if there is one. And probably passed every single test they ever passed on there. So she has the potential to be the awesomest FBI agency, and all this stuff could still be there. But she could get permission for us to do it on 9-1 and just get the royalties of it. Yeah, I guess. It's just that Tiffany's brainstems were split when she saw the star, or before she saw the stars. And then once she saw the stars, it created an infinity amount of lifelines and brainstems and information. So one little idea can explode into inventions and everything else. But that stuff, what Tiffany talked about, that stuff is real. And it's a lot of money. And no, the Marine guy did not die in real life. And yes, the Marines were Tiffany's choice. But Tiffany's not in here to be that player. And if she was, she, like I said, she'd kill competition, like hands down. But she doesn't want her kids in here because they use them against you. Even though they were keeping them alive because they didn't have their points lined up there. The 4-year-old Elijah still doesn't understand how it works because she's not in here. She thought that they had a Tiffany Yui member body on a guy and went up there and did something inappropriate in a perverted way to a daughter of someone. And it was a man's body under there with no clothes on, which to Tiffany, that means they had to stretch the skin on. But that's not it. It's that when you come in here and you derobe and you scan yourself in. Right. Well, she didn't know that back then. But she did feel Like people were betraying her because they were not telling her exactly what was going on at all. She just knew that in the court case, they would take the Yui member body off and see a guy under there. She never had any idea that they were looking down here thinking she was driving their train or seeing a reflection of her face and blaming this one at all. Showing me. It's hard to explain. What it was, I mean, it's a whole long, drawn-out conversation of Tiffany sitting here and them sitting in her body where you can't see them. They're not physically sitting in her body, looking through her eyes or whatever, and changing people to be a different person or a different girl because they can watch it fall down each timeline and change to be something different, and they didn't want the same people to keep getting humiliated or whatever. Or blaming the same guy that didn't do it or whatever it wasn't. And it wasn't just one person, it was a lot of different people. Because the thing is all you had to do was sit in Tiffany's body and look up and see who did what back then. But they didn't know which one did it because they were on a chain and they put it in all of their folders. As Tiffany said, please put the Red Devil Boy voice in the folder of the person who M-worded my daughter in the UE, whoever my daughter is. Because 3 different girls would talk through Tiffany at their mom. She doesn't know who their mom is, and she don't know who the girls were. All she knows is there was a fake version of Soraya in here, 17 or 18 years old, because she was Navajo, sent to the Navajo country, not allowed to be around these people. Because back then they didn't know how to erase memory, didn't play or put it up underneath that. Something different. Gunning in camo, black on black, my strap matches my shoes. Ops getting buck, I'm ammoed up, good shots, so watch them lose. Comrades itching for them Benjis toasted up, they got my back. Heman beamers and them Benzies toasted dreams, we flipped to facts. Oh, people love that song. Yeah, and her love for guns, that she's never shot handguns or whatever, and a few other things, and there's some cool stuff that she did from the ground. It's just like little tiny bits of things that she does from the ground. The player in here or whatever they do, they get to set it up and like make it into a game-winning situation. But these people were actually in love with players in here, not just because they made them safe or but porn or because they had good personalities, but because they made them rock on, whatever that means. It means keep the silence. Because this program that they're on is legal, but once I saw the stars, it wasn't legal anymore. For them to keep playing off Tiffany and not paying her and letting all these brain stems go to waste with the information of medical advancements, technological advancements, inventions, and everything like that. And to take the rights away from them to look through other people's eyes in an alternate dimension and see the wrong person. They have pulled Tiffany up there looking like this with long hair and a weave or whatever, with her weed sweater on. And it is not Tiffany, it's them and whoever is on this chain right here, which is not. There was only one person accused of hurting a boy pervertedly when they put the 14 bars on you, right? Yeah. They never said a girl? No. Did you have a feeling that maybe it was about a girl and they changed it to a boy? Kind of, just because they wouldn't answer my question. Did you think it was so they could do porn? No. I didn't know about the porn then. Honestly, I did not know about the porn until Cindy said it out of my mouth. I knew about piggybacking over here. I knew about that stuff, which was just some raunchy ass game. And then I knew about Amy and Katrina and whoever else, all in love with one guy, supposedly saying, if you ever come in here, we'll be rich. And then whenever they came down to pull her up there, which she always thought it meant they were going to pick her up on the ground, they would go, "Oh no, you're too ugly, Ghostface Killer," compared to all these beautiful women up here. So when you say AR-14, you were talking about the 14 bars of whatever that they put on you, all embezzling money through your eyes. Mm-hmm. But you don't know who they are. No, all I knew was IR Solutions, or whatever he was Peace Stain's investor over here, like at a legit place or an IRS place. And I pulled him down here to help me get money or whatever. And he's like, "Oh yeah, definitely, I got you. That's messed up." And then they never came back. Yeah, man, somebody was in Tiffany, probably a couple people, brainstems all connected when she was bawling her eyes out saying whatever she said. And she doesn't have any kids with him, but Amanda Burgess did. No. Do you think you're on camera all the time? No. But does somebody know what you're doing all the time? Yeah, because you guys are in my head, and it's not just you, it's them. If I think of anything or anything, I mean, if I was to put a Metallica song on right now, chances are wherever Callie's at or Horns Guy or a few other people would probably come down here and lit it out. If I started singing Our God is an Awesome God, the back voices of UE members would probably all sing. If I started to take a shower out of nowhere, the high stakes bets would probably join in and get everybody wet for some reason. That's Tiffany's. Tiffany doesn't have any cases, so don't say that's Tiffany's. Stupid, ignorant bitch. I am Tiffany on the spots. Oh, no moms, no women have cases. They just use us as scapegoats, Kay. I've never been in trouble. Katrina was arrested in Arizona for a stolen car. Tanika Brown has a past in the feds. But Tiffany has never been arrested. And she doesn't have any child abuse cases. Is that what you were trying to say? Yeah, they're saying this one's Tiffany's. What is it? Well, can you bring it up here so I can prove to this lady that this isn't Tiffany's fault? Whatever this is that they're trying to say is Tiffany's fault? Yeah, come on. Come here, lady. Do you see Tiffany's reflection with the spots? No, I see some girl with a bun up. Yeah, that's Tiffany. Oh, wait, unless that girl has a bun up too, she does. All these I love yous on her wall. She doesn't see us. She sees things that are written on her wall, like I love you, and Elvis, and forgive, and believe. Do you have a split screen? Yeah. Okay, well, you're right here, Stella. And Tiffany can't see you. And she doesn't have any Child 3 cases or child abuse cases on the ground. And Stella, you are the one that told Tiffany not to smoke cigarettes at Carol's house on 10th Street because the smoke inhalation was going up to where the kids are. She did not know anything about the game or porn or any of that other than the fact that they deleted her Good Mom Dream book and you guys pulled her up here to fix it so that she would never get blamed for whatever it was that they did. She was supposed to be off of whatever they put her on a year ago in March and get her money. If nothing else, the $3,000 was like 9 or something. Because it's 1, 2, 3, because everybody's got to get some, right? If nothing else, the $3,000 from the Blue Room theories that were donations from church. Because the rest of it probably was embezzlement funds that they just used in here as trade for goods and services. And the rest of the money, embezzlement money, was reinvested into the S Corporation idea. Rather, it's their S Corporation or yours, guys. Because I don't give a fuck about the S Corporation idea. I give a fuck about the betrayal for my own UE saying something about this is Tiffany's. She can't see what you're looking at. I've never been in here as a player, lady. I'm on a chain because they put me on a chain because they're fucking faggots. Nobody else has ever done this to another human being on the planet in her life. Nobody else is scanned in like me either. I don't benefit from it. All I have is lethargy loss, kidney failure, brain damage, privacy invasion, being threatened all the time that they're going to kill my kids for every year they were born, not even understanding what that means. Saying they're going to pin charges on my son and they're going to kill my son in jail and make him look like a fucking chimo or whatever the fuck to hurt me when I'm not even in there because they hated Tiffany other than the STD, supposedly. Because you guys, the UE, I don't know if it was a Tiffany body on or what, but you guys put Red Devil Boy voice in the folders of these people who got killed for it, saying that Tiffany's daughter, or whoever this was, daughter, was molested in the UE up here. And they all got killed. And then you left it. You had no idea that their spirits popped out and they were in hell. And when they got let out on accident, they went up into other people to get revenge on Tiffany back then. And they had already admitted that like a year and a half ago. And so Tiffany wasn't really worried about it. She also stole her mom's car to make sure her daughter's front brain didn't think that her mom let them do it or had something to do with it, like knew about it or dreamt about it or anything. Her daughter had no negative feelings towards her whatsoever, and Sal about slapped her saying, "Why are you listening to the voices?" I'm like, well, they're not exactly voices, they're UE that talk out of my mouth. And they know they're UE because they're the ones that gave me the name Empress. And they gave me the name Empress because they ruined my name for T-Bunny in Porntown and humiliated me and everything else. And Empress was supposed to stay over here as a syndicate for Tiffany, not to be Porntown, with UE benefits that kept her alive with her magic power source. And the UE girls that sit in her body and fix bodies really quick or whatever, or heal stab wounds or whatever all that was, those were all good people then. And Tiffany cannot see us. So where's the Tiffany, the thing that she says Tiffany's? Right here. All right, so are you seeing me, Tiffany? No, Tiffany can't see you. I'm on YouTube. Okay, so this is Tiffany on YouTube with her sweater on and her hair up. She can't see us. We see each other through her eyes. And we can look up there. It's here. Hold on. Don't cry. Look, dude, I think you need to calm down because that little girl you're chasing did not take your penis pump away. And she is Soraya's mom's kid or somebody's mom's kid. Tiffany can't take your penis pump away. She's not in here as a player, man. I don't even know what a penis pump is. I just saw a picture of a penis with a yellow line on it. And I was assuming that meant that the porn industry was going down. Why was that little girl scared? I don't know. Was it Soraya? No, it was Willow, which is a combination of girls or whatever. Or maybe it was Sarah's daughter. Sadie and daughter, I don't know. She never sees because she just goes. was not killed by somebody taking the blues pills on the ground on the other side. Didn't he make it seem like Sarah Bobby Harris said that to him? Yeah. And then he showed you some pictures on the old girl. Yeah. And he said that after you took the pills at the schizo clinic, yeah, get that needle cap out of here. That's not Tiffany's fucking bullshit. That's them trying to make you guys disassemble. Because they've been using past needle usage or making Tiffany look disgusting or whatever, Mary and them do needles, okay? And so does AK, Anthony C.S. But Tiffany doesn't. That was not Tiffany okaying any kind of tent bullshit. As a matter of fact, they don't have the right to watch me, listen to me, record me, and write me down in private time. And I did not hear from the UE that I was not allowed to do that until after they told me about the child abuse shit attached to Anthony. You mean have sex even though you don't want to? Yeah. So the next time I see him, what do I say? I say, AK, you're not my husband, bro. I don't want to have sex with you because then I won't be a part of my deity group. Because my rules are you don't have sex with somebody when you're not married because it makes you a 6 on the cardinal sins side of things. So on my side of things, I wanted to remain a 7, and instead of it saying charity, it says chastity, meaning I'm not having sex with you, nigga. I'm not in here fucking you. I'm not on the ground fucking you. Stop acting like I fucked you to win some bet or whatever it is. And I sure as fuck would not have sex out loud in here because it's illegal. Because I'm not in here as a player. You can't just pull me in here and have your personality and my mom's personality in my mom. I mean, you might be able to, but you can't on Tiffany. All you have is all these dudes that were in here in her personality. Toilet paper. Well, I'm the new Soraya at Selling Tony's, and I don't really know what to say, but I don't ever hear anything in my mouth, and I never did say anything cuss wordy at my table, and I love my mom, and my dad hasn't said anything to me at all about nothing. We didn't go to any meeting at all, and I'm not sure what they're talking about. And yes, I would rather my mom be with my dad if they were happy, and I love Tony. She's a great stepmom, and I do miss my mom, and I want her to have money. But the simple fact that they're trying to take her Empress Division, which is a trust fund, and awesome benefits for people who are good Christian people not doing drugs or in law enforcement is ridiculous. When my mom got off drugs to get away from AK and these evil people in Portland, and they put her on this chain that was supposed to last for a year, and she is on life support through the Japan computer, and she should be able to get disconnected, but she can't. And she can't even look at me in the eyes because she's afraid it's going to bring her in here or bring me in here. But anyway, my mom's dying. And she's supposed to have money to do whatever she wants for the rest of her short life and ignore us or become an FBI agent for real and leave me life insurance and insurance money to go to college if I stay a virgin until I get married and do not ever have a lifeline in here as a grown-up slut bunny because my mom doesn't want one either. She only wants one in here if she's an FBI agent, meaning you're not allowed to drive these trains from the sky, virtual reality, in a fake FBI investigation to hurt my mom when she did all of this for everybody in here. She never hurt anybody. She's not here jacking people off in Porn Town. This is them going back in time when Tiffany gave hand jobs to AK apparently. And they didn't realize on that side that they had kids in their Ojin. What's the matter, honey? He's going to kill her. He's going to kill Stella and everybody else because they took away his penis. They literally took his penis away because they said he M-worded somebody in here on purpose to set us up to get all the child cases off because LaShawn, Anthony, Katrina, they all had CPS, and Mandy, they all had CPS helmets on because cases were following AK. And they kept doing porn, and on the other side, it was looking wrong to the UE. And then they said that they saw Tiffany's video saying, I downloaded all these CPS helmets. It was not Tiffany who downloaded shit. We downloaded the shit to protect these kids, but we did not know that their parents weren't in here. And we didn't actually download them. The thing is that these kids were born through these hubs up here over and over again for blackmail and other reasons, sometimes life force. It was definitely blackmail where the little boy Elijah was concerned. And they do have a grown-up version of a Soraya up here that those two girls were using for life force and whatever else to survive. And they did not like Tiffany on the ground at all. And they did know that Tiffany was the one that held her breath for them to cross the bridge. And they did not know that it was Tiffany they were yelling, "Shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. You're killing my daughter, bitch." Looking back at Tiffany or some other lady. And that's the fucked up part about being backwards scanned in, especially after you've seen the stars, especially after they keep changing your lifelines. And we're not on the forget me will at all over here. But on the other side, we are. And Tiffany's never gotten money from these people. And yeah, they wanted to submit transmission and then for her to take the blue pills so that they don't have to worry about whatever they were worried about on the ground. But meanwhile, they had already taken all of Tiffany's hard-earned work and all of our work up here, trying to get Tiffany her money to get safely disconnected by the feds or whatever, and took her permission slips and everything so that they could perfectly do their investigations up here and not ping off Tiffany, right? Or whatever it wasn't. And leave Tiffany here with nothing. Still leaving her here, even if she took the pills, just disconnecting the voices and some of them, still leaving her here, availability to look through her eyes, use her eye stems, use her body, use her everything, because her brain stems are connected to the magic computer and a bunch of other things on the good side. And on the bad side, it's connected to the judicial system and the DOL, which is why Tiffany said it's a global security breach. And she didn't want to go into detail into all these emails, but they need to realize this. Tiffany contacted Interpol and the FBI and the CIA, expecting them to have her back. Not just to get her safely disconnected or reconnected the right way so she's not on life support like this, bleeding out of her pee hole, but so that we can make a difference and get these other people off. Because the problem is that you can't just keep blaming the same 3 people that aren't even in here anymore or here at all. I think so. The Skull and Bones thing, the FBI people, they basically get it. They realize that it's a dangerous place to be for people. They realize that it's probably better to just shut it down, like Tiffany said, not to pay off Gambino or whatever they were saying. Because these people do have to keep rolling over these charges and blackmailing people with the information. Because whatever those 14 bars were, was all of it on this game. There's other games too. But they were already done and over with a year ago when they closed the game, when they permanently made Tiffany look naked. And they couldn't take Tiffany's kidney out because she had seen the stars already and was on life support. So they did keep playing both sides of the fence and winning no matter what. The people over there did not have female CPS cases telling Katrina's boyfriends to keep their kids away from AK. It was the cops. And it was because her boyfriends, or whoever it was. Anyway, as backwards as it is, you would think that they would tell Katrina to take your kids and whatever, but anyways, they lived at their dad's house because Katrina was home, sort of. But it was not what it is now. There wasn't a bunch of women controlling what these guys do in Porntown or in Set 'em Up in Progress or whatever it is over there in the Spoons department. That didn't happen until they did what they did to Tiffany. And that was send virtual reality bodies to Tiffany. And she had no idea why after she was scared to fucking death. So the FBI was listening on that conversation with AK. And they were involved in it in a way. But they did know that she was talking to them and that she was friends with them in her head. Anyway, they sent her those virtual reality bodies illegally. She had no idea why. And when we all cried up here, when they scanned them in for whatever the reason was, the FBI did get involved. And they pulled Tiffany's brain stems or body or whatever it is up to the upper echelon to fix it in the background. And it became a big force when they started making her go back and forth to CAK and forcing her to have sex with them down here. All of us thinking that Tiffany knew we could see her. And she did know certain people could see her. That's why she hates doing it. But not even that you could see me, but that you might be sitting with me and have to go through it with me. And I hated it, but I was trying to get the car so that I'm not sitting here like this with nothing. Because after 2 years of sitting here believing that you're doing, well, the first year, okay, look, there's that side of S Corporation and there's our side. Tiffany doesn't know who our side is. It's the ones you don't see, and it is some law enforcement, and it is some people that stick up for women's rights and yada yada. And we don't give a fuck if they keep their evil shit and hide their whatever it is. We're down as long as you leave Tiffany alone. Over there, guy, I don't know if you can hear me. But we also know that Tiffany Browning never hurt her children, and that she was not in here as a player because you put her on a chain. And whether it was the men driving the train of her body, if her body was even in here, or if it was Sarah with her purple face on, or a Willow born in her body, or somebody different that she doesn't know, Kenworthy or something, if they were even born in her body, like having to wear it, but having their person, I don't know how this works because I'm not them. But the point is that you guys should have never persecuted Tiffany for not being able to see you down here, and then take credit for everything that the scallywags did, that the Blue Room Theories did, that the people who actually know Tiffany that put her on the chain did to save Tiffany, like putting all that shit on her floor for them to pull up for the win, for her to be able to get her money and then just ignore us or whatever while they disconnected or whatever, because of what you guys had already done before. Because they were acting like they didn't want Tiffany to come in here as the FBI agent, but I don't think they realized how Tiffany was connected because they've never seen through Tiffany's eyes. They're just the V. Anybody who has talked to her through her mind out loud would be the ones they got deleted when she took the pills. And they probably would have started over on a brand new game if they wanted to, but But that would probably mean her taking the strong pills at a hotel for a while and then reconnecting her being on the like a supplement or something. But the way they did it was really smart. So Tiffany takes the pills on the ground and gets all the way disconnected. What did disconnect that one too? No, because it's a brand new game and they looked at the stars from here. Yeah.
Here's your pants, honey. I'm gonna put some makeup on and stuff and go over and visit with Betty for a while. Jesus,
Oh, that sounds fun.
Okay, yeah. You wanna come?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna put the makeup stuff on like you know what I'm ready.
Okay. My name is Anton Mulbay, and I know for a fact Tiffany doesn't know who I am because I'm a combination of 5 people, and I am a pervert, and I do have a big dick painted white, and it was AK's until they turned it into somebody else's for a gun show for some reason. Did you turn him into the black guy in the FBI department in Arizona? Right, so when they say they're not going to pay her and they say that, do they say that looking down here and they put him there on purpose? No. It's just that we have to keep going over there to tell their front brains because they do come out on timelines. Because I don't know if it's subliminal messages or if it's a different one every time, but they don't like Tiffany because of how embarrassing they made it look like to be on Tiffany's team. Like she was in here sleeping around or whatever. And then the Herbagana Syphilidia thing. They don't look at it from a gangster point of view. Tiffany was not in here as a player. Okay? And Tiffany is the only one who had permission to use these ISTEM codes from the ground or in here to do anything, including force things through to the judges. Because you guys put these bars on Tiffany and these bodies on Tiffany when she did not know why you put them on Tiffany. Not only that, but you moved Tiffany's homing beacon to her mom, Carol, with that intent when you made her go to Portland, where she did not live, when you did it. She's a mom that they didn't know she was a mom, but she's a mom and she's never been in trouble. And that's just it. If Tiffany was in here as herself, she would not be afraid of nobody and she would own the planet. Okay? Just like she was gangster and jumped off of the unicorn horn, off 7-Eleven in Vancouver, Washington, in front of the Nazi crew that made her hail Hitler instead of saying, F you syndicate, I own this bitch. For 7 to be Tiffany with no second E and 11 to be Elijah, no second E. With a certain situation on top, that's all their fault. From Yamude. No, I see her. I'm doing something through her face, and somebody else is saying something like, here's something, but she can't see what it is. That's a lifeline, I think, for somebody who's dead in the water over there, not having a lifeline. I look naked because they left me on a naked power source so that the cops, the judges, and whoever else needs to investigate whatever won't want to come down here and look up because they don't want to walk through the naked part. And up there, they keep saying, oh, yeah, all these people that were being perverts over here looking through people's windows, making them look naked with Internet Explorer or Google on their ISIM code, power source, which we look through. The game got shut down on them, so they all look naked too. That had nothing to do with looking through the skins to see who was the M-murder. Because none of these people that were on this perverted shit, because Joe wasn't there either, none of these people that look naked or whatever were M-murders at all. The M-murder shit was following the black guy painted white. Who was Anthony Ciaz, right? Yeah, man. They did have like a sewn on dick before. Mm-hmm. And what did he look like back then? I don't know. I think he looked like a person from the Titanic. I'm assuming. Because I've never seen him. I'm not in there. Noah is basically melanoma with a younger age, sort of, that used to sit up on a wall as a UE member waiting for his turn to stick up for somebody. Well, they have him up there saying something different, saying no mom ever hurt their children or no female ever hurt their children, especially the one to blame at the bottom of the power source, meaning Tiffany Brooks Browning or Mandy or whoever else that is, Carol, or this one. The scary part is they can change the reflection, or maybe it just changes depending on whose ISIM codes you see through her eyes or whatever. The only way you really know when you're at the bottom is if you come down here where Tiffany's at and you have a split screen and you can see her reflection, or you can see her bedroom and into your world. And even then, you're looking up, unless you're just looking at the world itself. Even then, you're looking up at that person, but you're probably, maybe, possibly not seeing that person. You're seeing that one through their eyes or through a scroll. These are like globes and winds and stuff are sticking up her again. Korean warrior calling. This is Tiffany, dragon warrior down here on the ground. I'm not required to not party like Marty, but I'm not actually in there. And I don't have any friends to kick it with. And I was tricked into seeing Amy and Teresa recently so that you could trick the system into thinking I was somebody else. But that being said, if I've ever done drugs recently for brain cancer research, because maybe it's because you made me do arm dances and lose my life force, or maybe it's because you killed me in a game, like killing my brain stems and then made me do arm dances to keep my life force coming out of me into you to keep you alive. Or maybe it's because I'm bleeding out of my pee hole. It's supposed to be in private on the ground. I'm not in there. You see reflections of me all the way up, apparently. And I have asked for that anchor 1,000 times. And I do want privacy on the ground. And I don't have it. Not only do you look through my eyes, but they see you too. And it's not just one person, because when this person leaves, it'll be another one and another one and another one. They are all witnesses while they're with me to what's going on. But a lot of them were on the forget-me-not wheel, and we are trying to change that. But there are lids that are in here, and some of them do remember what time it is in. And some of them are real players, and they do have electrical memory banks not connected to those two big, huge alien brains that were getting electrocuted. When Anunnaki was showing sad pictures or something, not having any Chinese stuff on it. Now, baby Anton, baby LaShawn, and baby Anton Mobay were not my kids at all. They were other people painted white without their personalities in it. Because Tuan was already on the chain from before with LaShawn somehow against AK. And then, anyway. Yeah, you're supposed to be sticking up for this one. Stop being snobby. She was in here smoking out loud. No, she wasn't. She's right here on the ground. She's not in here smoking out loud. She's right here. Hi, I have a bun in my hair and a leaf on my thing. I'm not in there. I asked for an anchor every time I do brain cancer research on the ground because you guys made me do arm dances up here with London and London Fog turning way evil after that to light up blue, when really it was just to keep stealing my life force out of me so that they can stay alive without kids or something. And I don't want to be connected to those evil people, and I don't want to have to do drugs for life force research or kidney cancer or whatever. And I'm not in trouble. I've never been in trouble. My kids have never been hurt. And I am part Rebecca, part Cheryl, part Stella, even though they deny it half the time. Because they just do their back brains that come down here and stick up for me, and they move to the next person and forget who they're sticking up for. Because I am the inventor of programs that ain't down here by myself with nobody and nobody and no one, no kids living with me, never have since my daughter was 7. My son's 22, homeless on the streets of Portland, missing his mama bear, being his guardian angel and trying to help him in here get that felony lifted, turned into a freaking misdemeanor or whatever it is or isn't, and giving him a place to stay with a car. With the money I already fucking earned, which is $100 a day since they put me on this fucking chain. for 2 years now. It's 2 years and 3 months. Wait, a little more than 2 years now. So about 350, so 700 days. We'd say 100 of those days I was off duty, maybe doing a line of cocaine or drinking or in the wrong company or whatever, on the ground where you're not at. That don't count, so I don't get paid for having fun or doing anything like sitting at Tanika's house visiting, or going to Mandy's, or going to Kara's, which I never went to, going to Teresa's, or kicking it with Amy, or Mary's. And that's the only times I've kicked it anywhere. And I did get stuck at Tanika's for a while because I didn't have a car. Too afraid to cross the bridge. Because the second I did cross the bridge with that piece of shit car that she gave me, or gave us, or whatever, it overheated and broke. And I did go back there to get my stuff a few times and borrowed a thing from Slappy Happy. And it did get towed by a police who was parked near a fire hydrant or whatever. That's not saying. You've never driven a stolen car before. Must be pretty desperate to be able to stay on the internet connection and potentially see your daughter every night back then, right? Yeah, I mean, I went over there to have dinner and not be able to look her in the face. Bring her in here. Turn somebody else in. She seems fine. Because this guy's up here moving power sources in his best interest. You know, See, we thought they got the password and snuck in while they were gone. So there was a copy of Sal's house in the alternate universe, and somebody went in there and stole Tony's debit card and made them late on their payment. Yeah. Did they say they had to bill somebody out or something? Maybe. They also said somebody else, my mom Carol, used my Uncle Jim's debit card and bailed somebody out too, not a while ago when his debit card didn't work. They're really good at fucking your life up when they don't like you, just like they made my Uncle Jim's debit card not work at the vape pen shop because they thought I was going to get gas to go somewhere in Portland for whatever reason. No, this is not going to work for us. This is Tiffany down here. She is the Empress right now. Clean and sober all the time as soon as they, maybe, no drugs all the time as soon as they fix her. Right? Because she drinks every once in a while. She does not have a problem with drugs. That's everybody else that's on the bottom of this chain. Mary, Trina, AK, whoever else these people are approved. These are all people that AK put on here to set up at one point or another. But Tiffany's not addicted to drugs. Honestly, she mostly just did it because she hated her life. But recently, it's just been for lethargy loss programs and kidney failure. They made her do FBI arm dances to keep them alive in here, which constantly pulls her life force out of her, gives her no energy at all. And then sometimes she does feel better, depending on who's in her body virtually. So she wants to be the Empress on the ground. They have the title. It can be a syndicate. It can be whatever you want. No needles. And if people want to live out lives up here as Tiffany with a wink, no. Never a Tiffany, never a Soraya. But maybe my counterpart without my social or my face, remembering that I'm the one that needs money with the princess crown, which is Tiffany Browning, on the ground. The only one who's earned it sitting here, clean and sober, because she wants me, and because she knows people are paying attention and can come up on a timeline for 600 days out of 700. And she is the one with spots. She is the inventor of everything. She is not trying to take their S corporation. The FBI already signed off on it finally. To just let it go, leave them the fuck alone, and let them finish whatever they gotta finish. Without persecuting any of them, even for the death of Alex. Only if they're sticking up for Tiffany, though, because the way they just said that made them seem like they were sticking up for everybody else. Kinda. What? What'd you say to me? What'd you say to me? What'd he say to me? Was that a dinosaur skeleton? I don't know. Must have Emery is in here. Why is she in here? Over here getting points for Slut Bunny stuff or whatever. Why can she get money on her debit card from up here, but I can't? You know, are your brother? Yeah. Do you think it had something to do with it here? Maybe, unless like somebody else said something. There is no social worker anymore for Tiffany Browning because we've already pushed this through 1,000 times. She doesn't live with her kids, and her kids were never hurt anytime recently or any other time. Tanika doesn't have a social worker either. Her kids might, I don't know. Neglect maybe, but nothing weird. because they don't remember Tiffany up there. Look, Stella, I don't know why you're getting mad at Tiffany. She was not the one in here smoking. It was them. Or maybe it was a reflection of her, even though she asked for anchor and privacy for kidney failure.
This is no ordinary bridge. This is one of the cathedrals of American infrastructure. We got to get this channel reopened, and then, of course, we got to deal with the rebuilding of the bridge. It's my intention that federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge. What happens was such a sad event, such a horrible thing. Make our democracy safe. It's not a joke. It's not exactly what being put. Particularly the President Trump is overseeing the White House of a slain policeman at the same time. Clearly, this was an ISIS attack that took place in Moscow. Understand that the Department of Defense is not taking us off the basis.
They want us to deal with what's happening at the border, and they want us to fix this immigration.
That's the same discussion. Chuck Schumer said Democrats are building themselves into pretzels, trying to avoid accountability for their lifestyle policies. You hear about the border?
Then we got to get that national security support.
The inmates are running the asylum. We've known this about Diddy for decades. People see they just haven't been talking, and now they're talking. And then on baseline this for I'm getting construction carried on back. Why? Because I actually lived in that school, and I know a lot of people in that area never there. Now this, the days of trading job all over done. Last night we got Joe Cool, whose campaign says that starts at his fundraiser when he puts the tree, featuring not just Hollywood celebrity, but President Obama and Clinton. Then it's $26 million.
Yeah, we're ready in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Axios is describing last night as finally
No, because they told her that it might not be time yet. It's because the thing is, you guys, Tiffany's brain stems are already connected to the FBI up here. In a roundabout way, yes. It's just how many times they switch the power source to do something different. To make it look like either Tiffany's commanding these players to do stuff, or to make it look like the person they're supposed to pay is this bitch. This is Tiffany with the spots on YouTube. And I just heard a big voice in the sky quietly say, "Don't tell me that you something." Smoked out loud in here, I think, or something like that. So yesterday she talked to some form of an FBI agent in here in her brainstem. She's not in here as a player. They talked to her subliminally. And they said, we got your back, Tiffany, and we'll prove it to you today. And as long as we prove it to you today, do not do your brain cancer research tomorrow on the ground. And I said, okay. Well, I checked. They did not prove it to me. On top of that, last night, they were going hard against me to do a bunch of other stuff. So the UE came down and said, just don't worry about it. Do your brain cancer treatment. We're in contact with the FBI and everything else. And as soon as it comes time to get you connected right, or whatever it is to make you an agent or to disconnect, or whatever it is to connect you legally, because you're already connected to the FBI, but not because you were in trouble, because you're the Savior program, then they will do an actual ping off your brainstem and connect you to an actual FBI agent that is not going to betray the fuck out of you and see if you can close the circuit. But right now, this is Tiffany down here with the spots on her face and no money and no car. And nobody has proved nothing to her yet. Yeah, I mean, Tiffany has a huge idea of how this should go in here. Like, stop sticking up for Rachel over there and pretending that this person is on the ground over here. And that's Carol, but it's not, because Carol has my my homing beacon on, and these people look clean and sober, and they're trying to make it look like that person, whoever that is. It's not this one. It's a reflection of her, I think. Or maybe you guys are just looking at it wrong. Anyway, the point is you're supposed to pay Tiffany's green dot down here on the ground, not theirs in here. Sir? Sir? Yeah, because you guys are working their different eyes, I think. Because they have been playing this like that for a long time, right? Yeah. In here, they will give it to somebody in here that is not Tiffany's friend, and they'll pretend to be the person that they're supposed to be paying. And rather they look clean and sober or whatever it is or isn't that they do, whether they're saying they're Tiffany or they're saying they're somebody else, the point is you're supposed to pay Tiffany Brooks Browning, who is right here on the ground, without an accountability code, without any ability to see us ever, with all these promises from FBI and CIA and Cheryl and these UE members who also lost their kids to their husbands because of whatever happened in here, unable to explain it or prove it without looking through Tiffany's eyes until yesterday. Knowing that Tiffany's never hurt her children because she is a UE member, but not in here as one. She's keeping the UE alive because of what they did, how they scanned her in. They pulled her up after they attached child abusers to her to fix it up at the FBI hub at the CPS office. And then they got disconnected when she crossed the bridge. And that's what happened after they had already had CPS elements put on them. And then maybe they did download more for more kids or whatever. I don't know if it was for setups in progress or what, but anyway. The point is none of these people that you're talking to in here hear you on the ground. But Tiffany does, and she's right here. And she hears you because I hear you. So, like, if one came over and talked to you and said something mesmerizing, you could look over there like God's table or whatever. Yeah. Dilligaff? Yeah, they're trying to come down here, I think. You've never gotten any money from anyone. You've never been in trouble. Your kids have never been hurt. Yeah. Wait a minute. They're just going to be an extension of you for right now, I think. They're pointing my way. What's up? Blue dot? What is that? No, that is what's back on there. What's that? I'm not trying to just nix out on forcing it through God's Ray and everything right now, of course. Because they have an appointment on the 31st. Did you ever think of credit card? Because it's the UAE people who tell me this, so usually they fix it or whatever. That's right, because she can't see us and she never knows who's saying what. But the simple fact that she was nervous about it is what we're not saying, because she can't see what they were doing. So they set him up. Well, clearly, I mean, Tiffany doesn't know how this works. He's the one who fucking watched the boy, not Tiffany. So she didn't think that there's any way they can make it look like Tiffany did something wrong, unless it was her power source. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to go. Are you going?
No, I'm gonna stay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, I probably won't be able to more than an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
I'm going to stop at Fred Meyer, see if I can get a lamb. They have a lot of them, but they're pretty expensive. And we only got, I think, $29 left in food stamps. So if I can't get them, then I'll get a pot roast or something.
Okay.
You haven't heard from nobody yet?
Not yet.
I keep trying them, honey. I keep bugging. It's Easter and they got kids and they're busy, you know.
I know.
Okay, well, I'll stay when I get back.
Okay.
Okay, can I get you anything?
No.
Or not?
No.
Okay.
Mom's leaving. Appreciate it. She can't hear you, honey. Well, this is LaShawn's sister, somebody, Katrina, said she lost her kids because of AK. She doesn't want Tiffany to lose hers because of AK, and that no, Tiffany does not have custody of Soraya, never has. We did. They tricked everybody and think it's something bullshit happened or whatever. Or if it was even Soraya, it might have been somebody else's kid. I don't know. But anyway, Tiffany can't see us, and she always wishes she could and hug these kids and tell them that she loves them the way she loves kids. But she's not actually in here. And no, she's not a bad person. No female hurt their kids at all like that on purpose or on accident. They are just the scapegoats, and so are the black guys. So they might be reflections of what is in here. Or you might see like Tiffany's or maybe Mary's or Mandy's or somebody at the bottom. The difference between Tiffany and everybody else is that we can talk to Tiffany out loud and she can hear us. We can't go talk to Mandy or Mary or Twan or AK from the outside of their head. We can't even talk to them